This card, chosen for you, is from the Fairy Forest, an oracle of the wild green world by Lucy Cavendish. Card number 41, Alwyn. Gift, divine inspiration, awakening. Alwyn translates to divine inspiration or flowing breath. It is a mystical force that offers us a moment where there is a sudden surge in newfound knowledge, inspired thought, the ability to awaken our dormant talents, and a sense that before we were given the gift of Alwyn, we were like sleepwalkers. Alwyn is a moment where life is forever changed, and once we drink of Alwyn, or feel it as a beam of divine light entering us and changing us, we can never return to who we were, and the world is never the same again. So when the card comes to you, you must know now that having experienced what has taken place, you cannot pretend life can ever be the same. You have lifted the veil, and you have seen the face of the divine. You have drunk the elixir of the gods, and the fairies have offered you their greatest gift. Alwyn does not stay, but the knowledge of what we have experienced in that moment changes us forever. So now that you have had this life-changing experience and been given this incredible moment of inspiration, you can either pretend to yourself that life is without magic, or you can continue to embrace the magic and the enchantment of every moment. Now, if you choose, you can become more fully alive. And while this is no easy path, it is one that is full of deep, joyful moments, true connections, and poetic, blindingly beautiful experiences. Alwyn will come from time to time, and you are so blessed for having had this most sublime and life-changing of all mystical experiences. Artwork, Snow White. This card, chosen for you, is from the Fairies Oracle by Brian Froud. Card number 64, Gotcha. Sudden shock, unexpected events, rude awakenings. Gotcha is the out of the blue fairy. He likes to surprise us. You know you're walking along, minding your own business, or not minding any business at all, and the universe smacks you on the blind side with something that makes an awful splat. Unexpected demands from the tax man, the bank's hole in the wall, machine eats your bank card late at night while the burly and irritable taxi driver is waiting. Your children find a way to dye themselves green just before your in-laws arrive. A meteor hits your car. Gotcha is, of course, capable of happy surprises as well as shocking or miserable ones. Perhaps your lottery ticket wins. There is a school of thought that says this is just karma. We deserve it for sins we have totally forgotten in other lifetimes. Not so. Karma is about lessons we need to learn, not about punishment, and meaningless events don't teach us much. So this may be karma, but it isn't that kind of karma. There is another school of thought that says all these things are our choices. We choose to be there when this is happening. We choose to step in front of the invisible, cosmic bus. There is some truth to this. On one level of being high in the superconscious, as Gotcha says, I know more than I see. But most of us don't function at that exalted intuitive level of consciousness much of the time. However, many of us do get hints, little flashes of intuition, and sometimes even big flashes of intuition. We often say, I knew I shouldn't have gone that way, or trusted that person, or invested in that stock. There are two things Gotcha is trying to teach us. He says he doesn't enjoy doing it, but I do believe him. Do I believe him? Actually, I do. Mostly. First, we need to learn to listen to and trust our intuition. We need to be awake and aware. It is just part of what we need to learn in order to fulfill our potential to have happy and satisfying lives. Without it, we are sleepwalking in a world, missing all the wonders and joys while not missing many of the bumps and the pitfalls. Second, when there are lessons we need to learn, or when there are experiences that are properly other people's, but that have an impact on us, we need to learn to roll with the punches, to take what comes at us, learn what we can from it, and regain our balance as quickly as possible. Things happen. We can't always control them, and we can't always get out of their way. We don't always even have a choice about them. For example, to live with a beloved animal friend probably means that you are going to lose that creature at some point, because most pets have shorter lifetimes than humans. Other things happen as well. People occasionally win huge sums in lotteries, but this too, we need to be able to take in our stride and not be completely lost in it. Gotcha knows we like to build sturdy, rigid structures in our minds and lives, but he also knows that these often are not good for us. Sometimes we even complain about them, muttering about life being dull and boring, yet we cling to them tenaciously. Such inner and outer rigidities usually encourage stagnation. And the Unity card, number 1, insists on growth. So, to help us along, Gotcha kindly delivers these sudden surprises. Yet how often do we remember to say thank you? It's hard, Gotcha says. Doing such a difficult job isn't enough to drive. It's just enough to drive a fairy to drink. From the look of that bloodshot eye, he has already been on some potent otherworld nectar. As a message in a reading, Gotcha speaks to us of sudden, often violent breakdowns of existing structures, habits, patterns, and or attitudes. When we become too tightly confined by our own self-imposed limitations, including the desire for comfort and security, Gotcha kindly breaks the structure restraining us, whether we think we want him to or not. On a soul level, we know this is to be necessary, but in our everyday thoughts, we usually get pretty upset about it. However, breakdown can lead to breakthrough. This is liberation. We often haven't a clue what to do with it. This is usually the beginning of a period of confusion, even disorientation, while we search for a way forward, although we may think we are simply searching for a way back to what we had before. Recommendation: do not try to pick up the pieces and put them back like they were. Consider instead what you would like to build in that part of your life, and this time, remember to leave some room for growth. As a warning, stagnation rules. It may seem that the situation is forever stuck, mired down in a swamp of misery, boredom, or pain. So it is, and it will remain so until someone, probably the querent, voluntarily sacrifices something outgrown but tightly clung to in order to acquire something better. Our energy, our attitudes, and beliefs. Gotcha, standing on his head, suggests that we can break loose from this pattern by dedicating ourselves to some service, some voluntary but meaningful sacrifice that will loosen the knots, break loose the cement around the joints, and set us free. Gotcha would like to see us do this and save him a lot of effort. Otherwise, he offers, helpfully, I'll come and help you break loose just as soon as I have a moment to spare.